What's up, narrative analysts? Jax Riley here, and we need to talk about what has just emerged in the Caitlin Clark saga. While most people have been fixated on her injuries and Indiana's ongoing medical failures, I've been digging into something far more alarming. Something every Fever fan should be worried about. The New York Liberty didn't simply fall into place as Clark's possible escape route. They positioned themselves deliberately, and the proof is right there in plain sight. Let me be absolutely clear about what we're discussing. Some of what I'm about to lay out is based on verified reports and documented interactions. But the larger implications come from connecting dots that the mainstream media either overlooked or intentionally ignored. So let's begin with what we know for certain happened on July 22nd. Following Indiana's brutal loss to New York at the Barclays Center, Caitlin Clark was photographed engaged in what appeared to be a lengthy conversation with Liberty head coach Sandy Brondello, alongside franchise stars Breanna Stewart and Sabrina Ionescu. And here's the part almost everyone missed. Her agent was present during that entire interaction. Mainstream media tried to brush it off as harmless post-game small talk, but I've been breaking down the body language, the positioning, and the timing. This wasn't a casual good game exchange. This was strategic positioning at the highest level. But this is where it gets even more interesting. The Liberty didn't just take advantage of an opportunity that night. They manufactured it. Official sources won't say this outright, but when you trace the digital breadcrumbs, a very different story begins to take shape. The Liberty have been watching Indiana's dysfunction unravel for months. Coaching changes, medical controversies, tactical breakdowns, and they've been documenting every bit of it. Think about this for a moment. Sandy Brondello is one of the most respected coaches in the league. She's built a championship culture in New York, and she's had a front row seat watching Stephanie White attempt to turn Caitlin Clark into a role player. That's not just bad coaching. That's an opening for every other franchise that's paying attention. But the Liberty didn't just observe. They actively positioned themselves as the solution Indiana couldn't offer. Remember when Breanna Stewart made those comments about supporting young players and building the right culture? Funny how that happened right as Clark's injury struggles were starting to pile up. Now we're entering rumor territory. Nothing here is officially confirmed, but the noise online is impossible to ignore. Multiple league insiders have hinted that Liberty management has been in indirect contact with Clark's representation for weeks. So how do you pursue a superstar who's under contract without triggering tampering violations? You engineer situations where natural interactions happen. You align your stars to build relationships. You showcase organizational competence while your rival organization collapses. And that Barclays Center meeting? That wasn't random timing. That was the payoff after months of calculated positioning. Here's what I've pieced together through forum discussions and social media analysis. The Liberty identified three major pressure points inside Indiana's operation. Medical management. While Clark was cycling through injuries, Liberty personnel were quietly highlighting their world-class medical staff, facilities, and recovery protocols to anyone paying attention. Coaching philosophy. As Stephanie White continued shrinking Clark's role, Sandy Brondello was publicly talking about unleashing elite talent and building systems around your best players. Organizational respect. Every time Indiana generated drama or dysfunction, the Liberty displayed the opposite: professionalism, championship standards, and star-level treatment. But the smartest move of all was using Breanna Stewart and Sabrina Ionescu as the faces of recruitment. Think about what Clark sees when she looks at those two. Stewart is an established superstar, a championship winner, and a respected veteran who commands organizational respect. Ionescu is an elite point guard who wasn't diminished by coaching changes, but elevated by them. Together, they represent everything Clark wants her career to become, and the Liberty made sure they were front and center during that Barclays Center conversation. The temperature of the online conversation suggests something much deeper is happening. Fans are connecting the dots, and what they're seeing looks like calculated recruitment disguised as friendly competition. One Liberty insider reportedly told colleagues, "We don't need to recruit Caitlin Clark. We just need to be ready when Indiana pushes her away." And honestly, that's exactly what's happening. So, what would an actual Liberty recruitment pitch sound like? Obviously, we can't know the exact words exchanged, but based on organizational patterns and strategic behavior, the message is clear. The Liberty can offer Clark everything Indiana cannot: championship infrastructure, elite medical care, coaching that amplifies talent instead of diminishing it, a market that respects superstar players, and, most importantly, immediate title contention. While Indiana struggles just to make the playoffs, the Liberty are legitimate championship contenders. While Indiana's medical staff continues to generate injury controversies, the Liberty's sports science department is considered best in class. While Stephanie White attempts to turn Clark into a role player, Sandy Brondello would build the entire system around her brilliance. When you lay it out like that, it's not even a fair comparison. But here's where this story becomes truly fascinating. After filtering through the noise, the signals point to something that should terrify Indiana Fever management. That Barclays Center meeting wasn't random. It happened right after Clark's latest injury setback, right after some of Stephanie White's most questionable coaching decisions, and right as speculation about Clark's frustration reached its peak. The Liberty didn't create Clark's problems in Indiana, but they positioned themselves perfectly to be the solution, and that agent presence changes everything. Because agents don't linger in post-game conversations, unless there's real business potential on the table. That's what transforms this from a friendly chat into strategic positioning. Fan reaction tells us exactly how this moment is being interpreted. Social media is flooded with Liberty fans celebrating the possibility of a major roster addition, while Fever fans are in full panic mode. One Liberty fan account posted, "We've been building championship culture for years. Now it's time to add the final piece." Another wrote, "Sandy Brondello plus Caitlin Clark, Dynasty unlocked." Meanwhile, Fever fans are begging Clark to remain loyal, while simultaneously criticizing their own organization's handling of her career. That's not a sustainable position for any franchise. Here's the reality no one in Indiana wants to face. The power dynamic has completely flipped. Clark doesn't need the Fever anymore. Her brand transcends any single team. Her talent guarantees success wherever she plays. But the Liberty? They need a superstar to push them over the championship edge. And they've positioned themselves as the perfect landing spot when Clark's patience finally runs out. That's no longer speculation. That's strategic reality unfolding in real time. Now let's talk timeline. The Liberty's championship window is open right now. Stewart and Ionescu are in their primes. The infrastructure is already championship ready. The only missing piece is a generational talent who can push them over the top. For Clark, this scenario offers everything: immediate title contention, elite medical support, coaching that maximizes her strengths, and a market that will elevate her commercial value. This isn't just a basketball decision, it's a legacy decision. And the story doesn't stop there. Because while we've focused on what the Liberty can offer Clark, we haven't fully explored what Clark would bring to New York's championship equation. Imagine this lineup: Sabrina Ionescu running the offense alongside Clark's off-ball brilliance. Breanna Stewart dominates the paint while Clark stretches defenses with her range. Sandy Brondello is designing an offense that maximizes all three superstars instead of minimizing any of them. That's not just a playoff team, that's a dynasty waiting to happen. The Liberty would instantly become the most talented, most marketable, and most championship-ready team in WNBA history. And Clark would finally have the supporting cast and coaching philosophy worthy of her generational talent. But let's be honest about the business impact. Caitlin Clark joining the Liberty wouldn't just be a basketball move. It would be an economic earthquake that reshapes the entire league. The New York market combined with Caitlin Clark's drawing power would be explosive. Television ratings would skyrocket, arenas would sell out nightly, and merchandise sales would become a gold mine. The Liberty's local and national commercial appeal would surge overnight. Meanwhile, Indiana would be left facing empty seats, collapsing ratings, and the painful realization that they were handed a once-in-a-generation opportunity, and completely wasted it. Now let's step fully into rumor territory. Nothing here is officially confirmed, but the online noise is far too loud to dismiss. Multiple league sources suggest that Liberty ownership has already begun quietly exploring the logistics of a potential Clark acquisition. Salary cap implications, roster construction, timing considerations, all reportedly being analyzed behind closed doors as New York positions itself for what many insiders see as an inevitable opportunity. And here's the detail that should terrify Indiana fans. These conversations are allegedly happening while Clark is still under contract with the Fever. That level of confidence tells you how many people believe this situation is headed toward an eventual separation. What makes the Liberty's approach truly brilliant is this: they haven't said a single public word about Clark. No tampering violations. No careless comments. No obvious recruitment attempts. Instead, they've allowed their organizational excellence to speak for itself, while Indiana continues creating its own chaos. Why recruit when your rival is doing all the work for you? Every questionable coaching decision by Stephanie White makes Sandy Brondello look better. Every Indiana medical misstep highlights Liberty's sports science advantage. Every moment of Fever dysfunction reinforces New York's championship culture. That's not luck. That's strategic patience executed perfectly. Based on everything I've uncovered, here's what I believe happens next. Clark finishes the season in Indiana. She likely pushes for the playoffs despite the organizational dysfunction. But once the off-season begins, that's when the real conversations start. Her contract situation, combined with Indiana's ongoing instability, creates the perfect conditions for a franchise-altering move, and the Liberty will be perfectly positioned to capitalize. The only real question is whether Indiana can fix its organizational problems fast enough to keep her. Based on what we've seen so far, that outcome looks increasingly unlikely. For Clark, this ultimately comes down to legacy. Does she want to spend her prime years battling organizational incompetence in Indiana? Or does she choose a championship-ready franchise that will maximize her talent and protect her career? She's already given Indiana everything: historic rookie performances, sold-out arenas, national attention, and playoff relevance. And what has she received in return? Injuries, coaching turmoil, and medical controversy at some point. Even the most loyal player has to prioritize her own future. And Clark is rapidly approaching that decision point. For Fever fans still holding on to hope, the warning signs are everywhere. Clark's recent interviews lack the excitement of her rookie season. Her body language suggests frustration that goes beyond physical injuries. And perhaps most telling, her willingness to seek outside medical opinion signals growing independence from Indiana's organizational structure. These aren't the behaviors of a player planning a long-term future with her current team. These are the actions of someone preparing for other options. Meanwhile, the Liberty continue positioning themselves as the answer to every problem Indiana has created. Championship culture when Clark needs stability. Medical excellence when she needs protection. Coaching brilliance when she needs her talent fully unlocked. They've built the perfect recruiting pitch, without ever saying her name. So where does this all lead? Based on organizational behavior, strategic positioning, and basic basketball logic, Clark's future increasingly points toward New York. The Liberty have been patient, disciplined, and calculated. They allowed Indiana to create the problems while quietly positioning themselves as the obvious solution. And when Clark eventually makes her decision, it won't be because the Liberty recruited her. It will be because Indiana pushed her away, and New York was smart enough to be ready. That Barclays Center meeting wasn't just a conversation. It was a preview of the future. Clark surrounded by championship-level talent, elite coaching, and organizational support. If you're a Liberty fan watching this unfold, you have every reason to be excited about how perfectly your franchise has played this moment. If you're a Fever fan, you'd better hope your organization figures out how to fix this mess, quickly. Because the Liberty aren't going to wait forever. So here's my final question for all of you. Is Caitlin Clark's move to New York inevitable at this point, or can Indiana still salvage the situation? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear what you think happens next in this saga. Don't forget to hit subscribe for more insider breakdowns like this, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss when I cover the latest WNBA drama. Because trust me, this Caitlin Clark story is far from over, and I'll be tracking every development as it unfolds. Until next time, keep analyzing the narrative, and remember, in professional sports, the stories behind the stories are always the most revealing. This is Jax Riley, and I'll see you in the next breakdown.